Hi, I'm Marlon, and for my capstone project this year, I decided to investigate the fascinating world of material science. Here's a little backstory on why I chose to do this project. My mom has been developing a business built around a design for a night splint. A night splint is a medical device that keeps one's foot in dorsiflexion, or held at an angle, during sleep or rest. They're prescribed to people with plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendinopathy. These are both repetitive strange injuries that cause extreme pain in the heel and on the bottom of your foot. All night splints on the market are either bulky and uncomfortable, or low profile but ineffective. Our design solves many of the problems with the current night splints. For my capstone project, I set out to address one of the engineering challenges for the design of the splint. I wanted to find out which material would best suit the needs of the splint. This involved collecting several different materials, testing their material properties, and making a conclusion from my data. Here is a list of the material properties I tested for this project. Tensile strength, which is the resistance a material gives to lengthwise stress, or stress that pulls it apart. Hardness, which is the resistance a material gives to localized indentation or abrasion. Specific strength, also called strength-to-weight ratio. And weight. In scientific testing, it's very important to have a well thought out and repeatable testing procedure. This is the procedure I laid out for my project. Before you conduct any tests, it's important for all your samples to be exactly the same size and shape. Any variance in this will lead to inaccuracy in your data. For my testing, I chose to make my samples 4 centimeters by 15 centimeters with a thickness of 5 millimeters. I also cut a small notch in the middle to ensure that my sample breaks in the center. To test tensile strength, I would use the Vega Tensile and Compression Tester. To use this machine, you must load your sample into the grips on the tester and increase the force until failure. You then record your maximum force on the sample in pounds and convert it to pascals. To test hardness, I used a Shore-D geometer. To use this device, you simply press the needle into your sample and record the reading on the display. The display is shown in the Shore-D hardness scale. Specific strength is calculated by dividing material strength by its density. It is important, though, to make sure that all your values are in the right units first. The final value will be in the unit Newton meters per kilogram. Weight is simply tested by putting each sample on the scale and recording the reading in grams. Here's the data I collected from my testing. From this, I conclude that the ProComp would be the best option out of the materials I tested. This material has very similar properties to polypropylene, but benefits by being a little bit lighter. Although I didn't test this property, ProComp is also a little bit stiffer than regular polypropylene, and would be less susceptible to any flexing forces. Polypropylene would also be a good candidate though, as it has many of the same properties and would be easier to source. In terms of manufacturing, the PLA 3D printed material would be the most ideal. Unfortunately though, it is not strong enough and would not deliver a quality final product compared to the other materials. The next iteration of this project would involve collecting more materials and also more equipment to test different material properties. I've only tested 3 of the vast amount of materials that could be viable for this project, and only 4 of the material properties to investigate. This project was only an introduction to the interesting world of material science, and I'm excited to learn more about the topic. Thank you for listening.